Okay guys, so you start off by boiling your potatoes. So you followed the recipe down below. I doubled it, the gnocchi recipe, just because I wanted to have extra for another day. Okay, so boil it. Once the potatoes are super soft, then you just take it off the fire and let it cool down. Okay, while that is cooling down, I proceed to start preparing the ingredients for the sauce, the creamy sauce. And so I'm chopping my onions, my garlic, and the Scotch bonnet pepper. And then I also decided to add in mushrooms as well, because why not, right? So I just finely sliced it. It is entirely optional. If you don't want to use it, you don't have to. Okay, so my potatoes have cooled down. I've finished preparing the other stuff. So all I'm going to do is peel the potatoes and then put it into that container and mash it all up. So you can peel it with your fingers, or you can use a potato peeler. It was actually a lot quicker with the potato peeler. Okay, so once your potatoes are all mashed, peeled rather, you're gonna just mash it all up, and then you'll add your eggs later. So we'll proceed to mashing first. And make sure you mash it really well. You don't want any lumps and bumps in your potatoes. Okay, and then once you've mashed it all up, then make a little hole in the middle for your eggs. And just crack the egg into that middle hole. And like I said, if you're making it for 4 to 5 people, follow the quantity below. Okay, so you use 1 egg. Okay, then you simply whisk the egg and then mix the potato and egg together very thoroughly, like so. And then you can add salt and pepper to season as well. That's again entirely optional, but it just adds a little bit more flavor to the final dish. Okay, so then just mix all that together really well till all the ingredients have combined nicely. And then you need to put flour on the table and then transfer your potato mixture onto the flour. And the apron has come out because this part is a bit messy. Okay, and then you're going to pour your flour onto the potato mix, and you're going to keep adding flour and kneading it until you get to the correct gnocchi consistency, which I'll show you later. It's easier to figure out if you have enough flour based on how it feels rather than based on just a simple measurement, because your potatoes could be different sizes each time, and therefore it may call for different amounts of flour, which is why I think it's better to kind of understand what it needs to look and feel like. Okay, so like I said, I'm just going to keep kneading away until I get the desired consistency for my gnocchi. And basically you'll see, like I said, I'll show you, but it just needs to feel like not sticky. You don't want it to be sticky, but then you don't want it to be overly hard and floury. Okay, so just that kind of right consistency, like I'm about to show you, I think. Yeah, so you can see there it's kind of like still stretchy, but it's not sticking to my fingers. Okay, so I just... Okay, so just gonna work with small bits at a time, and I'm simply gonna roll the sections out and then start cutting up my gnocchi. Okay, so you need to roll it firmly but not too firmly, and it needs to be the thickness of like a sausage, I guess. And then once you get to that stage, then you're simply gonna chop the gnocchi up into strips, into kind of 1/2 inch strips, just like I'm doing there. Okay, and I'm just going to show you a little fancy way to decorate your gnocchi if you want to do it. So you just get the back of a fork and roll the gnocchi down, and then you get a really pretty pattern on it like that. But I made so much, so I was not going to be doing that for every single one, so I just decided to like poke holes in it, and having some kind of texture on your gnocchi just allows the sauce to kind of really what's the word, to kind of absorb into your gnocchi, to kind of sit in it, if you know what I mean. Okay, so I literally did that for all the gnocchi, and oh my god, it took me ages. I don't think I'm ever going to make a double batch again. Okay, so my mushrooms I already fried earlier because I don't like putting it in with everything else, because sometimes I find that it becomes really watery. So that's that done and set aside for later. Okay, then you need to get a pot with water in it and add salt, and you need to get that boiling, and that's what you're going to cook your gnocchi in. So once it starts to boil, then simply add your gnocchi in, and you don't want to add too much in, so you need to do it in small batches, kind of like what I'm doing now. You put it in, you can give it a little stir just to make sure that it's not stuck to the bottom of the pot, and it only takes about 90 seconds to cook, guys, and you'll know it's cooked when it all floats to the top of the pot. So you'll see that happening right now. Okay, so you can see it's all floating to the top. Beautiful. Okay, so once it all floats to the top, then just leave it in for another 30 seconds and then take it out and put it into a drainer. Okay, so that's done now, so I'm just transferring into a drainer. And guys, here's a little tip. So when you put it in a drainer, when it starts to dry, sometimes it can start sticking together. So it's actually better, if you're not going to use it straight away, to just put it into water, and then that way it won't stick. So you'll see that now. I'm going to show you. So this is initially what I did, but then I ended up doing this and it was perfect. No sticking together whatsoever. Okay, so I finished all the gnocchi, and then now I'm going to make the sauce. So you need to put some oil in a pan. I forgot to start recording, but I've just put the onions and the garlic into the wok and just cook that, and fry that rather, until the onions become translucent. And then you want to add your prawns in. So these are cooked prawns, so just add that in there. And of course you can make it with chicken and other things as well. It's entirely up to you. Okay, so prawns are in, and then just mix that all together. And then I add the onions in as well. And also my Scotch bonnet peppers, and give it a good stir. Then you can add sage as well for some additional flavour. Just like a few leaves, whatever you want really, 3, 4, 5 leaves. Okay. And then add your tomato puree into the wok. And mix all the ingredients together. And then I added some meat stock into it, and this will give it a really nice flavour. And this is just from when we cooked some meat before, so we always put the meat stock in the freezer, and it always comes in so handy. Okay, then you're going to add some of your gnocchi water into the wok. Okay, then you're going to add your single cream and combine all those ingredients together. And then you want to let that simmer away for like 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, and you'll see the sauce will start to thicken up. Then you can go ahead and add your gnocchi into the pot. And mix it really well so that all the gnocchi is covered in the sauce. And then add your seasonings, so salt, pepper, and your Maggi cubes, or you can use Knorr cubes, or whatever seasoning you want really. And I went ahead and added more gnocchi because it just looked like it could do with more, so yeah. You want all the gnocchi to be coated, so make sure you mix it all well together. And then just let it bubble away for a few minutes, for 3 to 5 minutes. And then I added spinach into it because I just wanted it to look pretty. And it actually did look really nice. And honestly, I always underestimate spinach. It wilts so much, so I added a little amount in and then I kept adding more in. But that's not a problem because it just goes in at the end anyway. And you can see it adds a bit of colour to it, otherwise it would look kind of one colour, which doesn't matter. When I first made it the first time, I didn't add spinach or mushrooms and it tasted just as delicious. Okay, and you see the sauce gets thicker and oh my god, it looks so good. And there you have it. It's so easy to make, so easy. Like the gnocchi, cutting the gnocchi and all that stuff is probably the bit that takes the longest. But yeah, oh look at that, so creamy, so full of flavour. Make sure you try it. If you enjoyed this video, guys, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, turn your notification bell on and all that good stuff. Comment below if you will be making this or if you've ever made it yourself, and share your recipes as well. And I'll catch you next week. And yeah, happy Eid, guys. I think that's a good sign, scraping the plate.